Okay, so we all know AI agents are getting insanely smart. But how do they actually break out of their digital world to do stuff? For them to be really useful, they need to connect with outside tools. And believe me, that's a bigger challenge than you might think. So let's dive into the really elegant solution that's changing the whole game.
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter. You've got this brilliant AI agent living inside a model. How does it connect to things we use every day, like APIs or databases or other services? How does it actually break out of that digital box and get things done?
Well, traditionally, AI agents have been stuck in what you could call a walled garden. Connecting them to the outside world, it's been a massive headache for developers, a totally manual, super complicated process for every single tool you want the agent to use.
So on the left, you see the old way. It's all hard-coded. Just imagine a developer painstakingly wiring every single tool directly into the agent's code. If one of those tools gets an update, the whole system could just break. It's slow, it's fragile, but the new way over on the right is all about being dynamic. It's flexible, it's scalable, and it just works. And honestly, this analogy just nails it. The old way of giving an agent a new skill is like, imagine wanting to install a new app, but instead of just tapping download, you had to completely rebuild your smartphone from scratch. It's absurd, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
So, how do we fix this mess? Well, the solution is a beautifully simple, universal protocol. It is time to introduce the hero of today's explainer, the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. So what is MCP? At its core, it's a standard. Think of it like a universal language or maybe even a universal plug that fits any outlet. It creates a standardized way for an AI agent to automatically figure out what tools are out there and how to use them, without a developer having to write a single line of custom code for each one.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Well, MCP has two key parts, a server and a client. And sticking with our phone analogy, you can think of this whole system as being like an app store, but for AIs. Let's see how those pieces fit together. The MCP server is the app store itself. It's a live catalog, basically, that holds all the tools, all the apps that your agent could ever want to use. The MCP client, on the other hand, well, that's the installer. It's the bridge that connects to the App Store, sees what's on the shelves, and gets those tools ready for the agent to use. All right, let's walk through this step by step. First, you ask the agent a question. The agent thinks for a second and realizes, hey, I need a special tool to answer this. So the MCP client pings the MCP server and basically asks, hey, what tools you got? The server shoots back a list. The client then grabs the right tool, registers it with the agent, and boom, the agent can now use that tool to get you an answer. Simple as that. And right here, this is where the real magic happens. This whole process is called dynamic discovery. And I want you to notice what didn't happen in that workflow. A developer didn't have to write any new code. They didn't have to restart or redeploy the agent. The agent literally learned a new skill on the fly. The original source material calls this an integrates once approach, and that phrase just captures the benefit perfectly. You set up this connection to the MCP server one time, and from that moment on, you can add new tools, update old ones, or even remove them on that server without ever having to touch the agent's code again. It cuts down on maintenance like you wouldn't believe. So this dynamic approach, it brings a ton of advantages to the table. It's scalable because adding new tools is a piece of cake. It's modular because the agent gets to stay simple and focus on its real job, instead of getting bogged down with managing tools. And here's one that developers will absolutely love. It's interoperable. That means you can swap out the underlying large language model without having to rebuild all your tool integrations from scratch. That's huge. So what's the big picture here? What's the real payoff? Why should we all care about this? Well, it's all about building an AI that is genuinely future-proof, one that can grow and adapt without constant, painful manual work. This table really just sums it all up. We are moving away from a system that's manual, rigid, and brittle, and into a new world that's automatic, flexible, and adaptable. Tool updates go from being a major project requiring a full redeployment to just a simple, centralized change on a server. All that complexity gets moved away from the agent itself. When you get right down to it, MCP creates this clean separation between the agent's brain, its logic, and its hands, the tools it uses. And that creates an AI that isn't frozen in time. It builds a foundation that can grow and learn new skills just as fast as we can dream up new tools for it. And that leaves us with a really exciting thought to chew on.
For you and me, this means the AI apps we use could get smarter and more capable literally overnight, without us even having to click update. An agent could learn to tap into a new company API, or a new data source, or some new service, all in an instant. So the question isn't just about writing better code. It's about what really becomes possible when an AI's skills can grow and evolve every single day.